In 1952, a woman took a photograph, a single photograph that revealed the secret of life itself. That photograph, known as Photo 51, was the clearest image of DNA ever captured. The discovery that would explain how life on Earth actually works. Two men saw that photograph without her permission, without her knowledge, and used it to change the world, while she got nothing. This is the story of Rosalind Franklin, the woman who discovered the secret of life and was erased from history. Rosalind Franklin was born in London in 1920. From the very beginning, she was different. While other girls were taught that science was not for them, Rosalind excelled at every subject she touched. She studied chemistry at Cambridge University, one of the few women allowed in at the time. And even there, the system worked against her. Women were not allowed to eat in the dining hall, not allowed in certain libraries, not considered equal, no matter how brilliant they were. But Rosalind refused to be stopped. She became one of the world's leading experts in X-ray crystallography, a technique that used X-rays to photograph the structure of molecules, a skill that would eventually change everything. In 1951, Rosalind joined King's College London. Her mission? To use X-ray crystallography to photograph DNA. Nobody had ever seen a clear image of DNA before. Nobody knew what it actually looked like. For months, she worked alone, perfecting her technique, adjusting, refining, starting over, until finally, in May 1952, she captured Photo 51. It was the clearest image of DNA ever captured. In that single photograph, the double helix structure of DNA was visible for the first time in human history. At the same time, two men at Cambridge University were also trying to solve the mystery of DNA. James Watson and Francis Crick. Brilliant, ambitious, and desperate to be first. They had been trying for months and failing. Their models were wrong. Their calculations were wrong. They needed something they didn't have. In January 1953, Rosalind's colleague, Maurice Wilkins, showed Watson Photo 51. Without Rosalind's knowledge, without her permission, Watson later described the moment he saw Photo 51. His jaw dropped. His heart raced. In that single image, he immediately understood the structure of DNA. Everything Rosalind had worked for was now in their hands. Within weeks, Watson and Crick published their model of DNA, the double helix. The scientific world was stunned. It was hailed as the greatest discovery in the history of biology. Their paper in Nature magazine mentioned Rosalind's work only briefly, in a footnote, as if her photograph, the key to everything, was just a minor detail. Rosalind never confronted them. She never knew the full extent of what they had done. She moved on, continuing her brilliant scientific work in other fields. In 1958, Rosalind Franklin died. She was only 37 years old. Ovarian cancer, likely caused by years of X-ray exposure from her own research. 4 years later, in 1962, Watson, Crick, and Wilkins won the Nobel Prize in Physiology for the discovery of DNA. Rosalind Franklin's name was not mentioned. Nobel Prizes cannot be awarded posthumously. She never knew what had been stolen from her. Rosalind Franklin spent her entire career fighting a system that didn't want her there. She never complained. She never stopped working. She just kept going because the science mattered more than the credit. Today, her contribution is finally recognized. Schools are named after her, statues built in her honor. Scientists around the world call her the woman who should have won the Nobel Prize. But the Nobel Prize was never hers, because she died before the world was ready to give it to her. History remembered Watson and Crick. History forgot Rosalind Franklin. Until now.